What's up, YouTube collectors? It's Hyperbolic Mike here with another overview of a statue. And I think I'm going to stick with that overview moniker for some of my pieces. I think especially the older ones that have got a ton of reviews online already, just because I don't think mine are going to be as in-depth as maybe you can find in some other places. Let me know what you think about that. It's really just a word, and this could easily just be called review as well, but you know, I'm going to try to switch it up. Anyway, onto the piece. This is, yeah, well, before I get going, my room is a mess, and if you watched the last video, I am packing stuff up because we are moving, and so these guys are all that's left on my shelves, waiting to be boxed up. And I figured I would take this opportunity, because I haven't seen one done in a while on the YouTubes, of any of the Sideshow turtles. So I figured I'd take an opportunity here before Donatello here and his brothers go into a boxed slumber for the next 6 months to talk a little bit about the what I think is some of Sideshow's best pieces. So yeah, this is the EX. If you're familiar with these pieces, then you would know that what makes the exclusives on these pieces, for at least 3 of them, is their bandanas. So outside of Raph, and Sideshow decided to do the regulars of these pieces as their original all red bandanas from the original Eastman and Laird comics, even though they were technically black and white. Yeah, so if you got the exclusives, you got the, what especially for me probably is a little bit more meaningful, because I was about 6, 7, 8, 9, sort of that range, when the Turtles were at their peak in the late 80s, early 90s. And I believe I went to see the original Ninja Turtle movie for my 7th birthday party. So that gives you an idea of how old I am. But yeah, Turtle Mania, man, when I was a kid. For everything from the original Nintendo game, which is to this day the bane of my existence. I don't think I've ever gotten past the Turtle Van section of that game. What a nightmare of a game. I mean, honestly, those developers probably were sitting around laughing as they were putting it together, just knowing how much frustration it was going to cause people. Anyway, neither here nor there. This is number 100 of 425. Interesting fact about these turtles is that I believe the Donatello, and I'm sure somebody will correct me in comments, but I believe out of the 4 turtles, the Donatello exclusive actually has more pieces in its number, in its ES, than the regular. And I think it has to do something with a production error, so I believe there are actually more of the exclusives out there for Donatello than there are regulars. Needless to say, this, I believe, most people consider to be the most sought after and hardest to find of the 4 brothers. And little backstory for my piece here, as I sort of zoom around on the piece so you guys can see it, and not just listen to my idiotic commentary. Is I searched quite a bit, and I went down some pretty deep internet rabbit holes to find this guy, including a Ninja Turtle forum called the Technodrome, which looks like hasn't been updated since like the time of GeoCities, and I was able to find a guy who was willing to let it go, and it did have some damage to it, and I was able to, and I can show you right here, well, you can't really see it now, and that's actually the best part about this, is both bandanas had chips and cracks in them, like it's pretty significant, to a point where you could actually see the reinforced metal that sort of is weaved in here to keep this shape, which was pretty neat. So what I did was I negotiated a deal with the seller, really good price, because he was trying to get rid of it anyway, and he wasn't willing to fix it. And so I had it fixed by another YouTuber, very well known within the statue community, named Rafael Robledo Jr. You can go actually check out his video of him repairing the bandanas of my Donatello on his page. which is pretty cool. So you can see how that process works, and you can see basically the before and after and how well. I mean, essentially, it's like new. So I mean, it really is, and I'm confident in saying that he did a fantastic job, and I highly recommend him to anybody. Back to the piece here. I fully believe this is one of Sideshow's best pieces. I'm biased. I'm a huge turtle fan. There is definitely some nostalgia in my bias, so that is definitely a factor for me. But I can also tell you that the detail on these particular pieces, and obviously, you know, I'm just looking at Donatello right now. All the usual, you know, big factors: paint application. The actual sculpt itself, you know, the actual pose, the base, the detail, everything about these pieces I feel like is top notch. And I think Donatello is probably the best example of that, and maybe that's why he's so sought after, because this pose is just so, it's probably the most dynamic of the four. And yeah, it really is truly great. And the box is over here, and I'll see if I can move it with one hand. Move it over, and then you can see the back. Move my coffee here. And oh yeah, just so you can see, this is the regular here that you can swap out, and I'll swap that out in a second. Put that over on the Lazy Susan. And let's flip around the box here so you can see it. Nice box art. I mean, they're not using any sort of different art. They're using the actual just pictures of the piece itself. You know, you get the description, and you know, one of those. I believe this was done in 2010. Back away from some of that light glare there. I believe these were released in 2010, around that time frame. So you know, they're, as far as Sideshow goes, these are considered a little bit older now. Hard to find. They're rare. They definitely all have low ESs from the regulars to the exclusives. Boxes are not huge, but the pieces are not huge. I mean, these are, I want to say they're probably like 1/5. I think that's what they are. So, which I collect mostly quarter scale. You guys have seen that I've got one bust and one brand new, not brand new, but a new diorama in my collection that I just picked up. But for the most part, I'm a 1/4 guy. And but these are spectacular. And I'm just super excited to have all of them. And sometimes you forget it, because once you put these things up on your shelf, sometimes you lose perspective on how rare some of these things are, especially you know, for personal quote-unquote grails that you find. I think once you got them, sometimes you sort of realize how hard they were to acquire in the first place. And so anyway, I wanted to take just a moment to show you guys this piece before, like I said, he goes away for a little while before I'm able to properly display him again. So let me swap out this exclusive head here for the regular, so you guys can see. For some of you old school fans, I'd like to see the red on there. So there you go. The regulars obviously don't have a swappable head sculpt there, so it's fully, you know, and some people like that more, and I understand that 100%. Like, I totally get the people that would prefer just to have the entire head be one piece, and don't care about the colored versions that may have more of a connection to the original comics, and I think that's totally valid and totally cool. I mean, either way, I think you're going to win if you decide to go after either the exclusive or the regulars. It's going to be a lot harder, I think, these days to find an entire exclusive set. So I don't know if I'll do a review of the Raph, but just so you guys know, if you didn't know the difference with Raph, obviously because he's red regardless of the original and the colored versions, his exclusive is that swap out right hand with Shredder's Challenge on his side. So that hand swaps out. So that is his exclusive swap out piece. Yeah, so that's essentially it. It's a fantastic piece. If you are a Turtles fan and you have the patience and the money to try to find these pieces, especially the EXs, I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and I think it's a worthy addition for any Turtle fan to have in their statue collection. So this is, yeah, a great example of it, and yeah, happy to be able to share it with you guys. So, got questions, comments, or anything else for me, leave it down below, and yeah, we'll hopefully see these guys in 6 months in their new home. So I'll talk to you guys later.